Street starts, investing and pumping a lot of money. So actually 2021 was like this heyday of, brilliant production making. And then in May 2022, Netflix kind of announced we've kind of plateaued. Subscription base isn't sustainable. It's not forever growing. At one point you start trickling off, and that all of a sudden everything started kind of collapsing after that, because they had blown up this perfect revenue model that worked perfectly fine for almost 80 years, and they smashed it, and in the tech world it's go fast and break things. But by the time they realized they've broken something fundamentally, and now trying to go back to a pre-COVID model, and you have the strikes on top of it. You have a younger generation that's moving towards social media and not really engaging in film and television. So you're kind of having this perfect storm of technological change and consumer change as well. And so by 2023, the industry pretty much shut down. We had the strikes. And as somebody who's worked in unscripted and was around for the 2007, 2008 strikes, back then working in reality, it was our boom time because we were non-union. So while the unions went on strike, all of a sudden you got the Kardashians, you got Jersey Shore, you got this sort of the Wild West heyday of reality television. But this time around in 2023, we became sort of the canaries in the coal mine because the strikes happened and then nothing was getting bought. And you got to remember back in 07 and 08, that was when television had cable channels and you had timelines. You had to fill something by your 8 o'clock slot. So there was always that need. But then now we're in the shift of a la carte television where you could pick and choose what you want to watch at any time. And you have a endless supply of library. So now sort of the fundamentals of how we even watch shows has changed. And so that's kind of where we kind of got in the state that we're in. And then I could talk about productions leaving the U.S., but that's another kind of worms right there.
You can see how unbelievably articulate and intelligent and informed Patrick is just of the industry at large, not just in his own silo of making his own productions, but he started to speak like this on social and informing people what's going on, but it really went viral when he started emotionally sharing how devastating the impact of all this was on friends in the industry, their livelihoods, their families. Like a rug trick had been pulled on the entire community and went viral. And so speaking of like the Wild West, here we are. You've kind of mentioned to me, this is like kind of still blowing your mind that you've become this thought leader, now the special advisor to the UAE's Office of Media, moved to Abu Dhabi with your family in the recent month. And here he is here at Harbor Film Forum, coming on as like our really only official media partner.
I was pretty excited also to meet Patrick, the producer. I didn't even realize it when we were first talking. That's who you were. I literally follow like 100 people on Instagram, and I've followed you, for a while now. And, it's because your content is amazing, right? You speak to the emotion of it, and, talking about your friends that are like, hey, you've been doing this for 20 years, but now they're going back to school to be a nurse. Or, it's like we have this great exodus happening, right, because of how the economics have changed. And, we're all trying to look for solutions, here at Harbor. It's going to take a community here, take a village to fix this.
And you got to remember also, like the industry itself, technological changes have been happening throughout the industry throughout the 20th century. There was silent films; they went to sound. We had sound films go to color. We had television decimate radio. But then, like since the 1980s, nothing really changed in the world of media between television, radio, and film. Maybe we got CGI in the 90s, but outside of just how we consumed our content.